Good morning, all. Ramya, can I start the session or can I wait for someone to join? I will start in 2 minutes. Yeah, let's start the session. So, any new one has joined? Hi, Shubham.
Hi Prasad.
Uh, Please introduce yourself so that we can start the session.
Uh, I'm Shivam Shingle. Uh, Yesterday I was admitted in class. That's why I can't join the meeting yesterday. But today I'm fine. So from today I will attend each and every one class. And before this, I worked in organization for Infosys for 3 years.
Okay.
On yes.
So, what's your background like? What's your right
Yeah.
experience?
Power BI.
Power BI.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Data analytics.
Okay, fine. No problem. Yesterday we have only covered the topics like what we are going to learn in ETL and what is the architecture of the ETL and what is going to be learned in the coming sections and what are the prerequisites of ETL tool. Okay, go through the document. You can easily understand. We haven't covered up any topic there. We just covered the demo session.
Okay, sir.
Team will share you the demo.
Yeah.
You go through that. You'll understand.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Today we'll start with the Unix. The Unix session is going to be for 2 days. For today, we'll cover up what is the architecture of the Unix, what is the usage, and where it is started, where we are going to use in the ETL, and what is the origin of the Unix dependencies. And tomorrow we'll cover up what kind of commands we are going to use in the ETL processes, or what kind of commands is available for each files or directories, whatever. So edit or to remove a directory or a create directory or everything. So we'll cover up today what is the architecture and the theoretical part of the Unix. Firstly, Unix is like a operating system. One second, be online. Unix is a origin, like it is depends on running a operating systems like Linux, Mac OS, BSD variants. So Unix is nothing but an operating system controlled language or a terminal based language which is used to control the users. Nowadays, users is nothing but, so are you able to see the Word document?
Yes, professor.
Yeah. So Unix language is going to interact between the user, hardware, and in between operating system will be there. So it should be a bridge between the OS and the hardware. So sometimes OS is going to be multi-user or it can be a single user. So in Unix case, we'll see it is a flavor of Linux software or Linux operating system, HPUX, AIX, and Solaris. All these OS are multi-user OS. So multi-users means the number of users can access the your operating system by using the terminal. Terminal is nothing but a workspace where you can access the your operating system. So in case of terminal, first we can go for the history of the Unix. Like in 1958, R&D was started an OS. In 1961, it was differentiated into a Unix process. So it was initially written in the C language. So but after that, it was modified into a several languages like script language and command types like and all. So previously it was like we have Windows XP. So Windows XP was there in the previous versions. Nowadays we have Windows 10, 9, 11. So in that, Windows is a graphical user interface. So our abinitio is also having some environment like graphical developed environment. So what is mean by graphical? So we can take the real-time example as Shubham is having an experience in Power BI. So what he is going to do is he's going to visualize the dashboards over there. So visualization is nothing but we are seeing our business reports or business purpose dashboards in a graphical manner. So that's the example of GUI, means graphical user interface. We'll see whatever if you type on Windows key. So what will came? It will give the start menu. So that is graphical user interface. Coming to the Linux or Unix, so don't confuse in Linux and Unix. I'll provide you the documentation. Go through that. You'll come to know the difference between Unix and Linux. Unix is the operating system supported language or a command based language to support the operating systems that are Linux, Solaris, and etc. So what's the features of Unix? So it is used for multitasking and it is used for the security purpose. So in Windows, you can see you don't have any person is going to access your system. So you have the password of your operating system. So he can log in and he can see whatever directories you have, whatever folders you have, whatever the files you have, so that he can access and he can see. So in Unix, you don't have that kind of security because you have the security to your files. You can give your the password and username to your files. If even though you have access to the given to your friend or someone, there is a security for your files and directories. You can change your permissions according to the your files. Multi-user can access your Unix operating system and multitasking can be done. Security also be there. And there is a facility also like programming facility also there like shell scripting and other. And Windows is going to be operated only for 30,000 users at a time. So we have Windows user. Sometimes we are having 2 to 3 only. So apart from 2 to 3, if we have the configuration of 8 GB or 16 GB RAM, We don't have a performances like the users can be 10 or more. So there we can get a chance to stuck or heavy load into the RAM. So that time Unix plays a major role. Most of the companies are not using the Windows like whenever we have the working environment. So most of the time they are using going for the terminal based, because we have n number of users, we are going to access a server in a real time. So that time, at a time 2 million users can hit a system architecture or system server at a once in Unix OS. So we have some, in the real time example we can take like, there is some project. In that project some 100 people are working at a time. So the person if uses the Windows, so he can't log in at once, because if another user also taken a place, that makes to slow our system. But in terminal case it is not going to be a same case. It will be accessed easily. There is no slow in the system. The CPU load also will also less compared to the Windows. So 2 million users can also hit that server at a time. So multitasking can also be done, as we experienced. And the command types or the process background process compared to the Unix, compared to the Windows, Unix is more multitasking purpose. And the security wise also it is helpful. And we'll see. Shell is an interface between the user and kernel. Shell is a interface between the user and, is my screen stuck?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, okay. Now is it moving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, multitasking, multi-user, portability, security, and the stability are the key features of the Unix. And the common uses where we can use is to hit the web servers or databases or the mail components. In that cases, we can use this Unix. In the embedded systems, like when we are in the testing environment, in that scenarios also we can use. Scientific computing is nothing but when we are writing some cell scripting languages. In the real time we are going to experience in the interview questions like, what is mean by shell scripting? Note down these points in the classes, like I am going to cover the interview question type of things also in the sessions. So note down these things, like what is mean by shell scripting. Shell scripting is nothing but writing a language or writing your uh, scripted language in a KSH file and running it on your environment. This is called shell scripting. So this is going to be the only one interview questions where you are going to encounter in your interview based questions, like what is shell scripting and where you have used it in your project, or you have any experience in shell scripting or not. So these kind of questions you are going to encounter in the interview based. Coming to the Unix part, apart from that they don't ask you for the what is Unix architecture or what is Unix usages. They won't ask you, because this is only the prerequisite. You are going to remember the commands only, like whether you have knowledge in Unix or not, whether you have change access permissions, whether you have knowledge on creating directories or not. But we are going through because we need to have some knowledge. This is the Unix architecture. Like kernel is the core of the OS. Like it manages the CPU, memory, and devices. Whatever the device it's going to be have. And shell is the interface between the user and kernel. Kernel is nothing but a hardware of a system. or hardware of a operating system it is supporting. As earlier said, shell scripting is going to be in the format of .sh or .chh or .ksh. So it shell scripting accept the commands of the user and it is going to be run the programs. We'll see what is this KSH file and CHS and SH, and we'll see in the real time in the tomorrow sessions, like how is going to execute it, how the directory is going to be created in the practical session. And the programs like ls command or cp command, copy command, and the grep command, and vi is to visualize. So these commands are there. This is going to be supported by the unix. So these are all like used in the file management or searching or editing. Vi is for editing, cat is for visualize, cp is for copy, and grep is for searching. So these kind of operations can be done using the unix environment. So these are the sample commands, basic commands. ls is used to list the directories, whatever the directories or files available in a single directory. cd is nothing but change directory. So suppose we are in one directory, so you want to go for another directory, so you will type like cd path. So it will go to that path. pwd, print current directory. Suppose we are in a path home. Suppose Prasad is my home directory. You want to know in which directory you are there. If you type pw and enter, it will give you the directory where you are located or where you are there in the current directory. mkdir. Mkdir is a command to create a new directory. RM is to remove the files or directories. There are number of RM commands like RM, if, RMF. So that commands are there. We'll see in the next classes in different types of removal. There are 2 to 3 types of removal commands. We'll see in the practical sessions what are the removal commands. And we'll see MV is nothing but moving or renaming. Sometimes we'll directly move and sometimes keeping a file of copy and we'll move. So we have move commands also several types. We'll see. Cat is to visualize the content of a file. Suppose you have a file and you will type cat. The name of the file is prasad.dat. So we'll type this command and we'll enter and you will visualize the file. So we can also edit a file by typing vi commands. We'll see in the practical sessions how it will work. grep command. Grep command is to search a file inside a file. Sometimes also if you are going to search any kind of files in the directory, there are several ways to search the inside the files or searching for a file. Ch mode is nothing but changing the permissions of a file. So we can change the permissions like you have created a file, you have input file from the source. So you want to change the permissions of that file because no one want to access. So you will give particular that permissions. Like chmod commands are several types. We'll explain in the coming sessions like what are the possibilities and what is the number of chmod types available. There can be a, it can be the type of restrictions. So we are giving the restrictions or permissions to the our directories or files. So this is the brief history of how Unix was started. From 1969, it was started and it was developed, written in a C language in 1973, and 18 and 90s it is changed as a Solaris and HPUX. So in 80s it was started supporting to the operating system. So in the Unix, it was the first operating system was Linux in 1991. So sometimes you will also encounter these question like what was the first operating system that was launched based on the Unix? So Linux is the first one. Unix, this is the architecture, like this is the brief theoretical part. like how creating folders, moving folders. So what is the use case of Unix, how it is originated. So shell and kernel we'll discuss in the practical sessions so that you can understand easily what is kernel and kernel. And shell is like a scripting language. What is the basic script language? How it interprets the commands? What is the commands we are going to type? So we'll see the simple architecture like how Unix shell is there. So this is the Unix program. So where it will go to shell first. So it will hit the shell like command line or interface, whatever you have typed. Shell is nothing but a command, so it's like ls or copy or remove, so that thing. So after that it will hit the kernel part, like the files, it will hit the file part, and it will impact in the hardware storage. So it is the basic architecture of the Unix. Shell is the command based one, and it is going to be hit the memory type, and it is going to affect in your hardware. So we will see the simple example, like first one is you have typed a command like rm rm remove dat. So you are hit, this is a shell. Rm prasad.dat is a shell. I was highlighted in the bold letters. So this was a shell. Here it was a shell. So after that, it is going to hit the kernel. Kernel is nothing but, so we are hitting this kernel through the shell command. It is affecting or manage the process. So kernel is nothing but a OS or hardware. So the ultimate, it is going to affect the hard disk or memory. We can type memory. So because if you remove this one, it is going to ultimately affect in the memory, either it could be create or remove. So this is the architecture of the Unix. So these are the sample Unix commands, like how copying the folder or creating a sample file, empty file, touch file. Touch is the command used to create a sample file. File manipulation is nothing but modifying or viewing the content, or how we are going to write a common text. Like here echo is the common, echo is the command used to write a hello world text in the text we have created. Here we can see the command. Touch is the command used to create this file.txt. See, it is a empty file, right? So we want to write some content over there. So type echo. After that, in hard coded type only your text should be. So after that you have to give hello.text. So these hello world is entered into your file. So after that you can visualize what is going to be there in your file hello.txt. So it is going to be visualized like hello world in a hello world in this, like. So we can move and rename or move or delete or copy these files. So this is the sample file manipulation, searching and permissions. So grep is the command to search the text, and chmod 755 is the kind of read write executive, because you are giving the permissions like read and write permissions. So you are not restricting, you are allowing the other users to access your file. So if you don't have given such permissions, other person is not able to access your file. Yeah, here is the example of how this Unix is divided. Unix was established or developed in 1961. So by depending on the Unix terminal based language, Linux operating system was established in 1991. So the cost is, and here are some examples how these Unix based operating systems are there. So this is the example of Unix and Linux. It is an open source compared to the Windows. This is not a license based. Unix is the open source, and it is a terminal based, or we can say command based. Windows is the graphical user interface, and the terminal is the command user interface. So you can access easily. So what kind of scripting language you have? So this is the example how the .sh file it will be there. So echo welcome to Unix is the content in that, and you are running it use based on the chmod permissions. So you how to run the sh file means dot slash your sh file. So this will run you the, so what will be the output of the myscript.sh means here welcome to Unix is the content in that sh file. So it will give you the output like welcome to Unix. So the content of the file is welcome to Unix. Yeah, you can see .sh, bash, and zsh, chs, and ksh. Most of the cases you are in the environment of ETL means you are going to experience the .sh only, and the environment it is going to be support is ksh or sh only. You don't worry about zsh and csh. Okay, there is a type of change in the language only, but the file system or the file running everything is same. We can run .chs file or zs same. The way of executing the different of scripting languages files are same, except the file name. We need to change the file name over here, and dot slash is the same way you need to execute all kind of scripting language files. It could be ksh or chs or zsh. These are all like a theoretical parts of kernel. Kernel, you no need to worry, it's an operating thing or a hardware thing. It doesn't impact your Unix things, because it is like a device which is going to support your commands. So it can be a CPU, or it can be a hard disk, it can be internal or external hard disk. So the processing or memory allocation, how your file system is there, whether it could be a disk drive or sometimes nowadays we are having external devices also. So it depends upon the CPU processes. This is the origin of your Unix and the basics of your Unix. And in tomorrow class, we'll see what is the Unix types of commands, and we'll see practically how it is working, how we are going to execute these all commands. These are all some basics, and we'll deep dive in tomorrow class, like how these we have a remove, right? In remove you have two to three types of remove commands. So removing a directory, removing a file, removing entire file without recovering. So that kind of is there, and ch mode also 755 777, and that kind of permissions will be there in the grep types. Two to three types, like searching inside a file and searching the file in the directory. So several kind of things will be there. So we'll see uh, in the coming class, tomorrow class, practical. We have some VI editor options also to edit the file name. We have several options in the Unix commands, file access permissions, and creating a file, creating an empty file, and inserting a file or giving a link to another file, and how to host a server or how to connect to a server, and what is find command, how to find a path of the file, or how to find a file in the directories, or how to find a file in a server. So how we need to give the filters. So we'll see in the coming class. We'll execute the commands one by one, but in the real time scenarios you will experience to only the basic commands, like how to move how to stop or how to host or how to visualize your content of a file. So these are only the commands you can use mostly. How to change the permissions of a file. So these kind of basic things only you will encounter in the ETL process. But keeping the knowledge of all these can helpful in the shell scripting purpose. I'll share the document with the team today and go through that. I'll try to give the Unix access, like share you the document and go through that and install the Linux. Sorry, Unix. Open. Try to open the Unix, and I will provide you the steps in the document, and it will be easy for you to practice. Whenever you have practice, the things only you will get to know what is happening over there. So by simply understanding the theoretical part, we don't get in the real time. So try to create the directories, try to visualize the content and try to create a file, try to remove a file and try to execute the command, like copy that or remove that, search for a file, try to insert more content, try to edit the content in the file, so that you'll come to know what is happening inside the environment. So always working on a tool or always working on a environment will give you only the best experience other than going through the classes or going through the content in the document. Go through the real time examples, go through the real time what is I am explaining or what is I am doing, execute that commands only. So that you will understand how the environment is working, how that command is impacting the file or a directory. Any queries for today's sessions?
Yes.
Feel free to ask the doubts, so that no problem. We are not running out of time. So these are the basics you need to be perfect so that you can be work more efficiently, because in the ETL process, Unix plays the major role and SQL plays the major role in business environment, because whenever the client is given some input file, so there you need to have some knowledge, like what is a directory, so how the directory is having the permissions, you need to check whether you have the access to it or not. And the real time you are going to see the landing directories. Someone will ask, I have provided in the dev environment there is a file, so you need to copy it to your UAT environment. So you are a testing person or a developer. So the business person will give you some location. So you need to have some an idea, like to copy from there to your location. So we'll see in the real time how it will happen. So these are the basic things in order to work on ETL flows. Not only the ETL flows, any kind of environment, these are the basic things. So it should be a input file, or you need to, after the output file, you want to visualize your output file to the client. So you can have a knowledge on these directories and files, giving access to your files or directories. So this is the basic thing. Yeah, Shiva, tell me.
Yes, sir. As you mentioned, can I consider shell as a location or path and kernel as a files in that location?
No, no, kernel is a not exactly the file. Kernel is a supporting to hit the your memory thing. Like you can take the
Okay.
example of input and output. So
Okay.
you can see the document, like let me show you. Kernel is like a OS or a hardware, we can think. So core OS, like in Windows we have operating system, but in Unix we don't have an operating system, right? We are
Yes.
accessing it through the terminal based, so command based. So in that way, kernel is hitting your hardware. It's like a interface to process your memory file and command line process. Kernel is the
Yeah.
interface between your command line and your hardware file, hardware storage.
Yes, sir.
It manages the process like it's not directly. If suppose you are removing a directory, so enter directly it will not go to and hit your hardware, right? The process in the background, what is there means it is a kernel. Kernel is hitting your OS. It manages the process. It's like a operating system. So Windows, we are directly going to a folder and directly right click or will click on a delete button, it will delete, right? It is a graphical interface, but the process which is running between the background is kernel.
Yes, sir. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, it is the core OS which will not be visualized. So it is used to translate your command to hardware.
Yes, sir.
It is the bridge. It's a bridge like shell and your hardware. Without kernel, we can't perform this shell commands or whatever the commands we have written. So after performing the command, the kernel will give you. So like you have a remove command, you have removed a file. So these kernel will manage that memory. So what to do? Whether I need to give some space to the file, or either I need to give remove the file, or whether I need to provide some allocation to the new file, or if you are renaming a file means it is processing. So it can be any type, right? With the file. So we are opening a file, we are visualizing a file means it is giving the instructions like your brain. So what will happen? So when you hit a person, so take it as a command. So what the
Yes.
other person will do, he will hit back. So the kernel is like a mind of a that person who will give you the response. So kernel
Yes.
is the bridge between the your command and the hardware.
Yes, sir. Nothing
It's
but as kernel will be acts as a uh, acts like a, we are giving the syntaxes. It will act
yes,
on, based on that, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yes, sir.
Any doubts like Purna and Shubham?
No, sir. I'm
No.
good.
No, sir. No, sir.
I'll provide a document of what is the architecture of the Unix and how it will work. Go through the document. If you have any doubts, we'll cover in the tomorrow session. And before going to the session, if you have any doubts, let me know. We'll cover that things and we'll start a fresh session. Like we'll cover up tomorrow the practical session of how the directories are going to be created, how the files are going to be created. We can edit or we can search for a file. These kind of things we'll cover in tomorrow session, and we'll start the dataware concept in the upcoming sessions. Thank you. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, sir.